Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm your host, the Nerd Man, and today we're talking black cinema. We're going to be talking about underrated black movies. We're going to be talking about whether Chadwick Boseman should have won the Oscar. And we'll also be talking about Black Cinema 2021, specifically on the Oscars. So with me today, I've got my brother from another mother, JG Shaolin, terrific, JG Shaolin. What's up, bro? You ready to get into it?
Let's get into this amazing topic.
Cool. Yeah, no, it is an amazing topic. I tell me what like in terms of black cinema. Are you a big fan of? I presume yes. Without trying to be like too presumptive. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of a lot of the films of. So I want to talk about like not just films about black people necessarily, but anything created by black filmmakers and stuff like that in this discussion. But yeah, it's a really good time, I think, for black cinema. I think there's been some really impressive pieces. I wanted to talk to you first of all, really about the Oscars so black. It's Oscars so white. It's becoming Oscars so black. It's becoming Oscars so black now, but the Oscars is gaining a little bit more color recently, obviously, and it all started with this campaign, Oscars So White. What have your general thoughts been on the Oscars So White kind of campaign and how it's kind of impacted the Oscars?
Well, you can take several things from it, right? One of them is there was this kind of a protest against the Oscars because white people were winning Oscars all the time, right? And just go back to when Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith were having this thing about why her husband wasn't nominated or this and that, right? And I mean, let's face it, it's a lot of black actors aren't in the best movies. It's just plain and simple. Like we play a lot of stereotypical roles, like the drug dealer or the gangster in the hood or something like that, right? And let's go back to Denzel Washington when he won that was the best supporting actor for Training Day.
That was great, though.
He was a great movie, did a great job. But again, look at every other film he's done. But the one he got that award for was being a crooked, hood-ass cop, right? Look at Halle Berry.
Didn't he get an Oscar before then? He's got an Oscar before then.
Well, he's got an Oscar before, but I mean, you look at the totality of the movies he's played in.
Yeah.
The one that, why that one, right? And so look at Halle Berry, right? Who isn't a great actor at all anyway, it's in my opinion. But she got that award for basically, pardon my language, fucking.
Right? Yeah, I know, man. That was straight up like, it was like, give her the Oscar.
Exactly. Now, let's give her like
I saw that scene. I was like, give her the Oscar, bro. I don't care.
Yeah, like I mean,
that's an Oscar. That's a performance, bro. Don't diss that. Are you dissing that performance? That was a fucking performance, bro.
That was a great. I was always curious about why in the world can she not keep a husband? And
well, that's what does she say? Mama needs something.
Make me feel good. Make me feel
good.
Make
me feel good. Make me feel good.
And as beautiful as she is, she's just not talented in movies. Film to me, unless she's having something, right? And let's go back historically, like the actor.
Well, she's got her talents, bro.
Oh yeah, now there was a major time. She took it
She's
like
got her talents. I like her in Swordfish as well. I like her anytime she gets naked. That's my favorite Halle. No, Halle Berry has screen charisma. I liked her in Bulworth. She was good in Bulworth. I thought she might have got an Oscar
really
nomination.
bull.
You don't like Bulworth?
Dude, the best thing she's probably ever done was the
Wait.
miniseries.
Can we establish something? Do you or do
Okay,
you not like Bulworth?
I hate it.
Why the fuck do you hate Bulworth?
I just don't like it. It's nothing about it I like. Only thing I like about it maybe was that soundtrack. Other than that, I didn't like it.
The soundtrack was live, but the film was fucking good. What are you talking about? Like Bulworth was like okay. Warren Beatty for one is a very very talented director. He's not like the best actor, but he's got like real good screen charisma, and it was a good role. I thought it was funny. You didn't find it funny at all? I guess
Not
you
at
didn't.
all. Now
Huh?
there was not one funny situation in that entire film that I laughed. Not once.
Did you wait a second? Have you watched the film once?
Yes, that's all I needed.
Watch it again, dude. You can't judge a film off one watch. I don't
Well,
care unless it's terrible. You cannot judge a film off one watch. You didn't like Halle Berry when you walked into that film, right? Like you
dude, I like
already
Halle Berry and
did.
everything she's in because of the way she looks.
Okay, right. But I'm just saying, did you think she was a bad actress before you went into the film?
Yes.
Okay, so you thought she was a bad actress. May you have been feeling in like maybe a bad mood? Maybe you weren't focused very much on it, or there may be something, because I've done that before. Do you remember I told you I like another great black movie, 12 Years a Slave?
Yeah.
First time I watched it, I didn't like it.
Really?
I honestly thought it was one of the most overrated movies I'd ever seen. The first
Wow.
time I watched it, and I had to, because I put it up on Facebook like a top 10 overrated films, and I had 12 Years a Slave there, and I had to actually apologize, like, because I watched it again and I was just like, what was I taught? This is a masterpiece. And
It's a
obviously,
beautiful movie. The acting is great.
Yeah.
Lupita Nyong'o,
Yeah.
awesome job.
Michael Fassbender,
Michael Fassbender killed it.
Paul Dano kills it in that movie. They all kill it. Nearly Chadwick, not Chadwick. What's it? Chadwick.
Chad Ojefor. I can't think of his first name.
Ejiofor. Ejiofor, fantastic in that movie. Absolutely brilliant.
The only person in that film I did not like was Brad Pitt. That was it.
Brad Pitt was good. He did his thing. He did his Brad Pitt
He
thing.
did okay. He was Brad Pitt. I mean, everything's in Brad Pitt. The best movie he played in was Fury to me. Other than that, and what was the one? Anyway, we're going off topic. Anyway,
yeah, we're going off topic. So, I was saying that that movie is a masterpiece. Obviously, now Bulworth is not a masterpiece. There's no, I'm not trying to, but as a fun movie, like a fun comedy, I think it's a fucking great movie. It's really like. Who's Oliver Platt is amazing in that. That's the best Oliver Platt role of all time. You don't know Oliver Platt.
I can give you that. I can give you that.
Oliver Platt is fucking amazing in that movie. Some of his lines, like when they're in the black church, and he's like, churches are burning in like 1998 or whatever. This shouldn't be happening, because he was like talking about a fire alarm that he'd set off had gone off in the church, and he was like, what's happening? black churches are burning in the modern day. This, yeah, it's fucking amazing. You have to watch it, guys. I'm sorry, but anyway,
Yeah.
so after that detour, let's go on to the main topic or main subject, which is Chadwick Boseman. Did he get robbed at the Oscars this
I
year?
mean, who
Now,
Anthony Hopkins beat him out for it?
well, let's just go through it quickly and
Okay.
so that everyone knows what we're talking about. Now, obviously, Chadwick Boseman unfortunately passed away this year. I think it was this year, right? Of colon cancer.
Yeah.
Was it this year or 2020?
I think was it, dude. I
It
can't
may have been
remember. There's been so much
2020.
going on.
Yeah, it may have been 2020 actually, but he unfortunately he passed away. You know, a terrible tragedy. And I'm actually going to do an episode of Hot Takes Tuesdays on Chadwick Boseman next. I'm guessing we're doing it on Wednesday this week, me and Philosophical Pickle. But Chadwick Boseman is a very interesting actor to me. And so he got nominated this year for a for his performance in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, a film that is based on the is it August Wilson play?
Yeah.
Obviously incredible playwright, but it's a film based on one of his plays, and essentially, like I'll just tell you let's not beat around the bush. My thoughts on Chadwick Boseman is that I thought maybe that this Oscar nomination was going to him simply because, he'd passed away. I didn't think that, I hadn't seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but I had a suspicion because, to be quite honest, I've never been blown away by Chadwick Boseman. By no means do I think he's a bad actor or even a mediocre. I think he's a very good actor. Do I think he's the highest caliber actor? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do I think he's in that echelon of just, obviously Denzel Washington, someone like Gary Oldman, Edward Norton, I'm trying to think of others, like just in that echelon of actors that just is electric when it comes to their performances. So now I've seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I have a new opinion on Chadwick Boseman. I think he did an incredible job. Now, I haven't seen the movie The Father. Anthony Hopkins did win the Best Actor in a Leading Role Oscar this year. So for The Father, it was an upset because everyone was expecting it to go to Chadwick Boseman.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen that film yet. So I have a lot to say about this. First thing I want to say, like before we go, is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is a fucking excellent movie. Just incredible movie. And I'm glad I watched it because I probably wouldn't have watched it had it not been for this particular controversy to see for myself. Did he get basically fucked over by the Oscars? Because usually, if the Joker guy could win, when he would never have won an Oscar that year if it hadn't been. I don't even think he would have been nominated personally, Heath Ledger, for the Joker had he not died. Clearly, he won that year because he passed away. So you're already, a front runner if you've kind of passed away, unfortunately. And then, the performance, I'll say what I think about the performance after, but I think the movie is incredible. And I do have to say that I still think Viola Davis is, we've got to talk about this. Viola Davis, is Viola Davis the best actress in Hollywood at the moment? That's going to be my question. Afterwards, but yeah,
Okay.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. What do you think, Chadwick Boseman? Before I tell you my opinion, because I don't want to influence your opinion. What do you think? Was he robbed?
Like you, I have not seen The Father yet. I'm gonna check it out later on tonight, probably. Based on what I saw from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I can see anything Anthony Hopkins' old ass did that can surpass what Chadwick Boseman did in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I just don't see it. Like I said, maybe once I see the film, I can maybe I don't know, convincing me. Um, but
But
we
the
see actors
but
who,
the problem is, it's not just look. We know the Oscars does not give the Oscar to the person who fucking deserves it
yeah,
all the time. Sometimes there are mitigating circumstances. As I said, Heath Ledger gets the Oscar. Maybe he deserved it, maybe he didn't. It'll be interesting to go back to that year and see what Heath Ledger's competition was, and also not just what his competition was in what was nominated, but what was his competition that year.
yeah,
Because they may have nominated weaker performances so as to make the Joker look worthy. Do you know what I mean? That year,
hmm
right? Because I very much doubt Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker, as good as it was the best performance of what was it, 2008?
yeah,
Right, the best performance in a supporting role. I very much doubt the Joker. I'm sorry, it was a great performance, but it the best fucking performance, of that year. So obviously, some people are, I would say Chadwick Boseman's performance in this film is it as good? Is it as good as Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight?
See, that's kind of not fair because you have Christopher Nolan, who is a phenomenal director, phenomenal script, phenomenal movie, right? You had Chadwick Boseman playing in you could say small budget Netflix movie and did just as good, right? And could it
Mhm.
be because it is a Netflix film? Could that be a reason why, you know, he didn't get it?
Well, it was a really great film,
Yeah,
right? We've got to do something. It's really, really interesting. Now, obviously on Rotten Tomatoes, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom has like 98%. On IMDb, it's got 7%.
what?
So not 7%, 70%, pardon me. So like
That's still.
7 out of 10, right?
Hmm.
That's incredible. And you're just like, who watches these movies and then comes up with that fucking score? That
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. That they would give this movie. You've got to be. I don't know what kind of taste you have to have in movies to give this nut. This is an A movie easily. Is it a masterpiece? I'm not so sure about that. But it's very, very, very fun. It's very easy to watch. It's a really cool movie. It's got great soundtrack and phenomenal performances throughout. And in lies the problem with Chadwick Boseman's performance in this movie. Now, as you said, you know, uh, as we've talked about already, like there's the posthumous kind of thing. Should he have got the Oscar just because he died? Given the history of how the Oscars does these things, I think so. This would have been his only chance to get an Oscar from now on, unless he's given like a lifetime achievement Oscar.
which
Um,
is probably something he'll get.
and probably something, given what he's done historically, he doesn't necessarily deserve. I don't know how was
I mean,
he in.
I understand what you mean. I understand.
How was he in? How was he in the James Brown movie? Did you ever
Oh,
see
he
that?
was phenomenal in that. I loved it.
Was he good in that? Okay.
To me, he
Well,
was great in it. And Viola Davis, this little small roach she had, she was great in what she did.
oh, she was in that one as
Yeah,
well.
she played James Brown's
Wow.
mother.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So again, like they're a really good duo. Then they didn't really act off each other much in this film, but they they had like maybe
Well,
one
they
scene
didn't do it
together.
much in the Get On Up, was a James Brown movie. Like I said, she played his mother. She might have been in it for maybe 10, 12 minutes in
Hmm.
totality, maybe. But let's look at Chadwick's best films, right? 42, right? You have Get On Up, right? You have Black Panther. You have, now I'm going to throw Ma Rainey's Black Bottom in there too. And look at the films he's done that weren't so, you look at, what was the one, I can't think of one where he was one of the Egyptian gods. That was very, divisive because it was kind of, people complain about being
So
a whitewash.
here's his total filmography.
Okay.
The Jackie Robinson story. Haven't seen that.
42
Was
is
he in
great. You'll love it. It's great.
42? Oh, okay, that's the Jackie Robinson story, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
okay.
in Spider-Man. I
Uh,
gotta look that up. I know he was in
I
that.
didn't know he was in Spider-Man. I think he might be right at the end in the credits. The Five Bloods was awful, but that wasn't his fault.
Yeah, it
The
was
Five Bloods
very
was a
overrated.
really, really overrated movie. And this is what we're talking about with Oscar So Black, right? Like, oh, sorry, Oscar So White. I keep saying Oscar So Black. Oscar So White has this issue, right? Where it seems like the Oscars, instead of trying to be fair, which is what they should be, because you mentioned the Will Smith movie, right?
Yeah.
And for me, that Will Smith movie that year that wasn't nominated, that he wasn't nominated for his performance in, was because his performance wasn't very good, and he didn't
Exactly.
deserve to be nominated. And the fact that his wife was kind of hijacking this thing, this
Hmm.
Oscar So White thing, and not even calling out for all other races, just calling out for blacks. I had a real problem with that. And then you started getting nominations like Black Panther for Best Picture, and I'm like, that didn't deserve a fucking Best Picture nomination. I'm sorry. You know, other films didn't. The films this year absolutely did, and in fact, they should have got more attention than they did. One Night in One Night in Miami, Ma
Fabulous
Rainey's
movie.
Black Bottom, really, really fantastic movies that deserved a lot more praise and a lot more nominations than they actually did get. I think Ma Rainey's Black Bottom got more nominations because Chadwick Boseman died, but I think that it possibly would have. I don't think he may have been looked over if he hadn't have died, and it would have been unfair because he deserves the nomination.
Okay, I can see that.
He definitely deserves the nomination. I don't know
Yeah.
if he deserves. My thing is, all things being equal, should he have won? But I do have a problem with Oscar so white in terms of that there are films every year by black filmmakers that go under that go on look that don't get nominated. And there are films in past, Spike Lee definitely deserved Oscar nominations in past that he did not get. But the Five Bloods and the one he did before, the White Klansman, they did not, or the Black Klansman. I'm not
Yeah.
Oscar So Black, the White Klansman. What's wrong with
Exactly
me
right.
today? Yeah, the Black Klansman, right? Like those movies did not deserve Oscar nominations. They were there because they needed to fill a black quota, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But there were good black movies that year. If they had have looked for them, there were good black movies that not only could have been nominated, should have been nominated, is what I'm saying. So, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, there was the same year that the Black Klansman was nominated. There was another film that came out called what was it called now? It was Blind Spotting.
I enjoy Blind Spotting more than Black Klansman.
Yeah, blind Spotting had a lot of different things that they could have been nominated for, especially in the
Mm-hmm.
writing department. Was great. I think the white actor in that was really good in it, but the both leads were good in that movie, and they could have put them each in different categories, like the black guy in the lead role category and the white guy in the supporting actor category, because they were both fantastic in that movie.
Yeah.
And so there was that was a great original movie. It needed the attention. That filmmaker, whoever he is, needed the attention and didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to me, it's like that kind of disparity led me to bringing it back to Chadwick Boseman to wonder exactly if he deserved that nomination or not. And watching it now, I'm like, absolutely, he deserved the nomination, and I was foolish to ever even question it without actually watching the film. It's just as I said, I need to sit down and do a good Chadwick Boseman marathon, right, and really get to know him as an actor.
Because I mean, you look at these films you have on the page right there, 42. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say the Express because he had a 2-minute role at the end of it. Draft Day, the small role he did a great job in it. I'm not gonna touch Gods of Egypt. Message from the King, I thought was a nice movie.
What about Marshall? Any good?
Not a fan of it.
Okay.
Not a fan of it. It was a decent movie. It just wasn't. It didn't live up to the hype and expectations I had for it.
Yeah, and I think my main problem with Chadwick Boseman is Black Panther, because that's what I knew him from, and his role in Black Panther is, to me, overrated. I don't think he's good as Black Panther.
I do agree with that.
I think he got blown off the screen by the guy who probably should have played Black Panther, which is Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan was that guy in the movie. And to me, it was interesting. We were talking to, what was his name? The film critic, right?
Yeah.
What was his name? Film Elitist.
Yeah.
Right. The other day. And he was saying how Black Panther kind of did these kind of things right. Right. Like that essentially, it did the exploration of Black culture or something right. Whereas Winter Soldier, Bucky, and what's it? Bloody hell, my memory today. With the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was did it wrong, right? And I've always thought that the Black Panther is how would you say it? It's like an exploration of the conflicts between or the inequality between blacks and whites. It's an exploration of that in a way that's very comfortable for white people to watch.
Calling the white agent, I forget his name. My memory's bad today too. They called him a colonizer. right? And so
Well, well that bit I don't think is very comfortable for them.
I think it is.
Um,
Of course, we have to ask one to figure it out. But
why would that be comfortable for them? Calling them colonizers, I don't think that's comfortable for them. I think that's very uncomfortable for them. They you know, they want to pretend, not pretend. Sorry, that's the wrong word. They want to. They want to start history as if it started now. That's how I think some young white people feel.
mm,
They're not comfortable with looking at history, recent history, and its impact on the world. Right?
okay.
They like it's hard for them to deal with because it's hard for them to process what so recently happened to people of color, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like so to them it's like, well, the world isn't racist now, the rules aren't racist now, the law isn't racist now, there's no implicit racism in them right now, so everything's okay, everything's functioning fine. But the history that leads certain people to be behind the line and them way in front, they don't want to address that imbalance. Do you know what I mean? Because they're like, the
Mm-hmm.
laws, and they're right in a way, the laws apply equally to all people, at least on the surface,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's only when you look at and economics, schooling, education, all of it applies equally to everyone. You know, if you've got the money as a black person, you can send your kids to private school, right? So it's
Yeah.
equal, right? It's whoever's got the money. But you only have that concentration of money and power. A lot of white people, not all of them, but a lot of them, have, and at least proportionately more of them do than other races necessarily. They have that because of the history, right? It's
Mm.
because of recent history, and so I think it's difficult, you know, as I said, and so a film like Black Panther, I think, is a film that really plays into that. It plays into being able to, uh, you know, at one time kind of look historically and say um, that, yeah, we don't agree with what happened to black people, Africans in history. We don't agree with that. But at the same time, they're able to divorce themselves a little bit from that now. So if you look at Killmonger's character, sorry, I know I'm going around a bit
Oh,
in
you
like
good?
kind of
You fine?
abstract circle, but if you look at Killmonger's character, what is he saying? He's saying use your resources to go over there and fucking take back what is ours. Don't, you know, like, what have you been doing? You've just been hiding in your little country and letting them abuse black people all over the world. Let's take all your spaceships and weapons and, you know, and go over there and fucking take what's ours. And the hero, Black Panther, says, no, 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 let's just open up our country and try and do what? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is he
Yeah.
going to do? Negotiate with them? No, give us our shit back. Otherwise, we blow you up. And that would be the right thing to do. That would be absolutely the right thing to do. That's what, you know, all the rest of the powerful countries do. They go,
Yeah.
give us your shit or we'll blow you up. So if Wakanda did that, they'd just be another powerful country. Give us our shit, and it's not like they're even asking for, you know, for other people's shit. What Killmonger was trying to do was ask for our own shit back.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm at a loss to see on a geopolitical level, like how Killmonger was a bad guy. I really don't. I'm not saying that I think that's right personally. I'm just saying, is that a bad guy in the context of the world we live in, or is that just a political realist who believes that might equals right?
Well, to me, Killmonger is more of the world than T'Challa was, right? T'Challa was Wakanda. That's what he knew. That's what he was aware
Yeah,
of, right? You see, when he goes to, was it China, Japan? I don't know. Was it Vietnam? Who knows where they went? But he looked around like he's not familiar with things that like that, right? Killmonger grew up dealing with depression, grew up dealing with discrimination and all that, right? He's seen the bad side of politics. He's seen the bad side of
yeah,
what he would call white supremacy. And
yeah,
so through his the perception, I can understand why he was saying, "Hey, let's go over there and get our shit, and
yeah.
let's use power for our own good." Right? That's what every powerful country does: use their resources for their own good. Right?
Right,
They only open
exactly.
it up when it's beneficial for them.
Right, exactly.
And so
So
you
that
saw when in Japan wouldn't let any outsiders in for centuries until it was
exactly.
more convenient to where, okay, well, we need to kind of get with the time. So let's bring these people in so we can learn from them
Right,
and see how
exactly.
that's
And
benefiting them
that
now.
that that's a very, very good point. And that's how the Asian economy thrived. That's why they're so
Mm-hmm.
wealthy now, because they protected their economy. They said, no, there's no free markets. We
Yeah,
don't get free
exactly.
markets. We own our own shit. We'll produce our own shit. Western companies don't come and buy our shit for cheap. It isn't happening. The shops closed for business, boys, and they protected their market until such a time as they were ready, because they had the all the means and the technology to produce and to, and to to, they had all their systems set up to be able to, essentially, how would you say, to trade basically,
Mm-hmm.
as a global power, or as a, as a technological, you know whatever, they had the infrastructure ready for to be able to compete in a world market basically, and that's when they opened up their markets, right? And
Yeah.
that's why you had, what was it, the Asian tigers, the big economies that came out
Mm-hmm.
in the 90s, and they were, whether it's Singapore or, Japan, or, all of those fucking countries came out in a big way, had more millionaires and billionaires created in, you know a quick amount of time, than any of the countries in the world. Basic fucking plan: protect your fucking markets. Don't let the Western world come in, and do what they will with, basically just come in and pillage and plunge, and plunder all your natural resources. Essentially, that's what they did. Worked for them, and yet they tell, this is going way off the
I know,
fucking
man. It's cool.
subject,
I love it.
but and yet they tell Africa, no, 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 just you, free market, like, just go with it, like, just open up your markets to us. Don't worry. It's like, and that's what's gonna generate wealth. It's bullshit. They're just stealing all your shit.
Yeah.
And so, going back to Black Panther, right? It was like I was just looking at this film thinking, this film makes no fucking sense. I don't get what you're trying. So you're trying to tell me that Black Panther's going to negotiate to either just sort out Africa or don't. Like, I don't. How could you stay there and let Africa live in poverty? How could you stay there and let South Africa exist while you lived in anonymity and expect me to see you as heroic. You're fucking full of shit. Your whole fucking
Hmm.
country is full of shit. And that's what I'm talking about. The narrative was very comfortable for white people because it was like, oh, clap. So he doesn't want to take his stuff back. You know, he doesn't want us to,
Yeah.
let's clap for this guy. I love this guy. That's the evil guy, the one who wants to like say, no, actually, we've got the technology now. Let's grab our stuff back. It's so I think that's very comfortable for them. And I think some of what Sam was saying, as much as I disagree with it I didn't actually disagree with what he was saying. I disagreed with the presentation.
Yeah.
I did agree with the film elite's point about the terrorist thing. I mean, that you are a terrorist if you're blowing up, people to get political means. If you're just, but what I was trying to illustrate was that, countries do that as well. So there's state terrorism that
Hmm.
kind of can kind of create the other forms of terrorism, which are like these kind of group terrorists like ISIS and stuff like that. That starts with state terrorism that leads to them being able to recruit people who are in hopeless situations. But anyway, I agreed with him on that. But for the most part, I agreed with Sam and what he was saying. I just thought it was a really weird way of saying it. But I think that speech that he said makes people less comfortable, makes certain people less comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm that interests me. That discomfort with that interests me, is what I'm saying.
Well, there are some situations where you just have to make it plain, throw it out there, like, hey, this is what it is, blah blah blah. There are other situations where you kind of have to be comforting in what you say, right? And if you have a power structure, let's say it is a white supremacist power structure, and they've already in fear of you, why would I come after you with aggression? No, I gotta make you comfortable, kind of lower your guard so I can bring you in. Then we can work together from the inside out. But now that's probably what Sam was doing. I don't know. We went way off.
Yeah, I mean, it actually does play into what we're talking
Yeah.
about, funnily enough, because my point was, I think Black Panther is a little bit overrated. I still think, maybe I don't agree with the politics, but that's not what makes it overrated to me. What makes it really overrated to me is actually, I just don't think the film is all that amazing. It didn't fill me with. There was no moment where I cried or cheered or, like was like, whoa, yeah, this is a great moment for. Do you know what I mean? There was no
Yeah.
rousing moment in that movie. I just saw it as another pretty well put together Marvel movie. It was better. It was amongst the higher. It was amongst the better Marvel movies. But yeah, it didn't like Infinity War was better than it, and like that came
Ooh.
out in the same year, and that didn't get an Oscar nomination. So I'm sorry, Infinity War was better than Black Panther. I would much. I don't know that I watch Black Panther all that often. I would watch it again, definitely. It's a fun movie, but Michael B. Jordan is good in it. And Chadwick Boseman lacks. He's Michael B. Jordan just kind of takes him off the screen with his charisma, and you just, as I said, I thought Michael B. Jordan would have been a better Black Panther. He looks more like somebody that you'd look up to, that you'd aspire to be like, than Chadwick Boseman. To me, I don't see that in Chadwick, and his African accent was absolutely it was atrocious.
Oh
I
wow.
don't know. I don't know what region, where he picked this African accent up from, but you could hear the American accent behind it a little bit, and you could hear the
Mm.
forced nature of it. It was not. It was not a natural. It was not natural for him.
Oh wow. Well,
So that's my critique of the movie, and that was my introduction to Chadwick Boseman and what I knew him from. And so I did feel like, I don't know about this guy and whether, and so I was really pleasantly surprised by him in Ma Raimi's Black Bottom. Was he the best in the film? Still no. It was still Viola Davis. Viola Davis killed it in that movie. Every scene she was in was like the scene to watch. But did he have the best journey in that movie? And did he really play that journey, like every moment of that journey, really, really well? So that it was believable and heartbreaking at the end? Absolutely. I thought it was a fantastic, like somebody who was going up and down and up and down, and and you didn't quite know where his character was going, but like by the end of it, it was purely kind of tragic. I thought that was the most fantastic element to his performance. The writing was strong, and he could match it. Was the writing stronger than him as an actor? Probably. Could I see another person playing that role? I probably could, and they probably would have been as good.
mm.
But that being said, you can't take away from the fact that he matched the quality of the writing with his performance. And so yeah, I mean, so it's kind of hard. Like again, I do think there were better performances. I would say Malcolm X from One Night in Miami did better than him in this.
Oh
What would you
wow.
say to that? What would you say to that?
Wow. That's gonna trigger some people. The reason why I would say no is because I would say Chadwick Boseman did a better performance was better, and this is why I would say this. I'm a huge fan of Malcolm X one, right? And yes,
Yeah.
he's a hard person to imitate on film, right? I think Denzel Washington did the best job if you're
No.
going to know as far as imitating uh,
Malcolm X.
someone as profound as Malcolm X.
Wait a
Um,
second. Wait a second. Completely different types of performance, but Denzel Washington played himself.
I
Denzel Washington was
if
not
you
imitating
I want you
Malcolm
to
X.
go back and look at a lot of speeches that no Denzel that was used in the film and compare it to Malcolm X's speeches. They were almost identical.
I think this guy
Almost.
played it. This guy, from what I've seen of Malcolm X, I can't remember his name, but whoever is in One Night in Miami who played Malcolm X, I think he was closer. I
Well,
think
I'm
he
not.
was
I'm
he was closer to how Malcolm X really, like, it's almost like he was trying to like straight up ape Malcolm X. He was imitating him, his body movements, his speech patterns, everything. I think Denzel Washington did an absolutely incredible performance, but it was Denzel Washington bringing his kind of swag. He brings his own swag to every role. I'm never. I forget I'm watching Denzel Washington in a way, but it's not. It's kind of like Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson and Denzel Washington, and even you know um, Al Pacino. These are similar kind of actors. They're so good at finding themselves in a character that they do disappear into the character, but it's still got an essence of them. you know. Whereas there are actors like like I mean, the best example has to be Gary Oldman or who's the guy who played fucking hell it's the guy who played in I've forgotten his name now. All right, forget about it. Gary Oldman, right?
Yeah.
So Gary Oldman just completely disappears in a role. There are times I've watched a Gary Oldman film, and as famous as he is, and as much as he's my favorite actor, I didn't even know it was him.
Okay.
That's how good he is at completely disappearing into a role. Now, for me, what I saw or there's another actor called Jeremy Strong who's very good at this, but that's beside the point. But what I saw in this performance by the Malcolm X guy is he was taking the Gary Oldman route of acting, right? He was taking that route of disappearing completely. So I don't even know what that actor speaks like. I don't know what he moves like. I don't know. From watching that, I felt like he was just being Malcolm X. Denzel Washington, I couldn't say the same. Denzel Washington was himself. He found himself in Malcolm X. He didn't try and become Malcolm X. He found a way of finding what him and Malcolm X had in common, and he played that. Do you get what I'm saying with that?
Well,
Does that
I
make
think
sense?
in acting, I think there's a difference between imitating and emulating. I think that the guy
There
in
you
One Eye
go.
Miami imitated Malcolm X a lot better, but I think
Right.
Denzel tried to emulate him a lot better, and
You
therefore I was more attracted to Denzel's Malcolm X as opposed to the One Eye Miami guy. Not saying that he
look
did a
at
bad job, because he
look
did
at
a great
JG
job.
Shaolin schooling me, man.
I was just
Emulate
saying, I
versus
think
imitate.
he did a
Jesus
great job
Christ.
playing Malcolm X. Don't get me wrong, with the
Yeah.
raspiness in his voice, and all that stuff. But when you look at Malcolm X as a man and as look at his speeches, read his books, read his excerpts or whatever, there's no way in hell he would be out debated. Right? There's no way in hell. And those are aspects of the film I didn't. Maybe that's just a film thing I didn't like. But the oh God, what's the guy's name? The singer,
Sam Wilson.
Sam Cooke.
Sam Cooke, you're right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
when they were having that little debate, and there was a line, one of my favorite lines in the whole film, which was, "No, everybody wants a piece of pie, not me. I want the goddamn recipe."
Yeah.
He was schooling Malcolm X debating
No,
that.
he wasn't.
Yes, he
No, he
was.
wasn't. You didn't
Yes,
understand
he
that
was
scene.
schooling Malcolm.
You
And
did not
therefore,
understand that scene. I'm going to put that scene up now. You did not understand that
I
scene.
understood it. I
He
understood it. I
schooled him.
saw
He
Malcolm
schooled
trying
himself.
to. Malcolm was basically trying to tell him, "Hey, you got more to offer than what you are doing to our community." That's basically what Malcolm was trying to do.
Yeah, but
And
you know
what Sam
what
Cooke
he
did,
responded?
and Sam Cooke's rebuttal was, "Hey, I understand what you're doing, but hey, this is business, right? And what I'm doing is going to be far. It's going to do far more than what you want me to do."
That's bullshit, though. Because wait, it's echoing.
Okay,
Right.
what about now?
All right. Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
It's echoing a bit.
What about now?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
is it still
Okay.
echoing?
All right. Well, let's get into this because I'm going to pull up this scene. I am going to pull up this scene.
Yeah, we went way off topic.
Like,
I love
yeah, I love it as well, man. We're going to pull up this scene because you're wrong. He didn't school anyone. He didn't school Malcolm X. They were
I
making a
think
point.
you saw Malcolm X actually kind of trembling a little bit in that film when people were going at him.
Look, I'm telling you, man, you've got it all wrong. You've got it all wrong. You couldn't have got it more wrong. I'll explain to you anyway, but like, just I might put up the scene later if I can find it. But
And the guy who played Sam Cooke did a great job. He was a great
the guy
job.
who played Sam Cooke definitely deserved the nomination. But the guy who played Malcolm X deserved one, and the guy who played, they all deserved nominations, dude. I really think the guy who played Muhammad Ali was fantastic.
Oh yes.
I especially liked. I think it was a very underrated but understated and beautiful performance by the guy who played, who was the Reggie
Jim
Jackson?
Brown.
Jim Brown.
Yeah.
The guy who played Jim Brown was absolutely fantastic. Held his own. So let me go back to that scene. Let me just tell you, because you schooled me on emulate, imitate the forms of acting. So I'm embarrassed now. Like, so you schooled me on that. So let me like go back to that scene. Basically, Sam Cooke's whole retort was bullshit. He basically said that there's all these black guys making this great music, and they know that it's not getting to number one. It's not getting up there in the charts. So they're giving it to white people to sing, so that the white people are now making, like, it was the Rolling Stones were making, like, taking it to number one, and they were getting famous for the black people's music, for the black songs that were written. So they're paying for the songs from the black musicians, and then they're the ones getting all the fame, all the glory, all the, you know, attention of black music. So in fact,
you're missing something.
So in fact, what was happening is the film was talking about cultural appropriation, and how Sam Cooke was actually being part of that system of cultural appropriation and selling our fucking souls, selling our, you know, what we're doing, so that white people could benefit from it. And
but
that
you're
was
missing something.
All right, go on.
Okay, you're missing this. A key point, which is power, right? Sam Cooke was trying to gain all this power from what he was doing, because he made a statement with the Rolling Stones. He said, you know, Muddy Waters was upset because the Rolling Stones were singing his songs. Then he said Muddy Waters was upset until he got that first residual check. And then Sam Cooke also says, who knows makes more money than singer with the number one song? The person who wrote the number one song.
Yeah,
so
but that doesn't matter.
Okay, you can sing our songs, we're gonna get all the money, we're gonna get all the power.
That doesn't matter to history. In history, what it says is the Rolling Stones were geniuses, and that black guy is unknown. And yet, sure, maybe he had the money, maybe he had the, you know, the wealth, and it doesn't matter to him. But in terms of the our collective sense of pride in what we've achieved, they took that away from us. So in a way, I think it played more into Malcolm X's argument, what he was saying. And then Malcolm X just put the feather on the bow by you know, playing him the song by
how many down.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the song.
Exactly. So anyway, my point was that it was an incredibly nuanced movie, a great conversation. We're going to talk about that movie a bit later in Black Movies in 2021, and talk about which ones we thought were like the best kind of movies. But in terms of, look, let me put it this way. I think Chadwick Boseman should have got the Oscar. I really do. When it all comes down to it, I don't think he was the best performer of the year.
Okay, I can see that.
I don't think it was a performance that, I think it was such a solid performance and such a great acting performance that you couple that with the fact that he's died and this is his last chance of getting an Oscar, you had to give him the Oscar. I don't care how good fucking Anthony Hopkins was. You know, it's just, I can't imagine Anthony Hopkins surpassed his best performances in this movie. We'll see. I'll look at it. I'm going to watch The Father with an open mind. But to me, I can't see how The Father, like his performance in The Father, is going to be as good as the performance by Malcolm X, the actor who played Malcolm X, or the guy who played Sam Cooke. I might be wrong, but I don't see it at the moment, right?
Yeah.
And so to me, he didn't even do the best performance of the year necessarily. Again, I have to watch it, so before I can make this complete assertion, maybe Anthony Hopkins is a hell of an actor. So if anybody could do it and be like, wow, you know what, I'll shut my mouth up forever. Anthony Hopkins was so good that he deserved to take an Oscar over a dead man. Anthony Hopkins is that guy. But still, even if he was so much better, I still think they should have given it to Chadwick Boseman, because that's what you do in the Oscars. That's what they do. That's what they've historically done. So why would you change it now?
Yeah, and you're right, and I agree. Like, I really have to see The Father and what Anthony Hopkins did, because I just can't see it. Even if,
Yeah.
if Chadwick was alive, I still don't see it. Right, and you look at these older actors who died young, like James Dean. Right, he wasn't a talented actor at all, but because he died so young, he's a famous actor. Right,
Mm.
and so we look at Chadwick Boseman, who we saw his filmography. Out of all those films, maybe 3 were great acting roles. 4 as far as just taking over the film. Man, you're right. I mean, his weight with him dying, what he was trying to do, as far as helping out, the community, stuff like that, along with what he did in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I just don't see how he did not get that Oscar. I do not see it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because we look at Viola Davis, who did a beautiful job as Ma Rainey. Excellent job. But who was the second best person in the film? If he's not the first, he has to be the second.
He was the second. He was the second best person in the movie.
And like I said, I have to see The Father. I have to see what Anthony Hopkins did, because I can't say he was robbed until I see that movie.
Yeah, you can't say he was completely robbed, but still.
And then again, would Chadwick have even wanted an Oscar if you just gave it to me because I was about to die? Right? Because you do have these actors who have these egos. And I know for me, I don't want you to give me anything, because I want to appreciate it as much. I want to earn that, right? But we also have seen a lot of black actors who
But I think he did earn it.
Didn't get them.
I think he did earn it. I think in that movie he really earned it. It was good enough. It was nuanced enough. It was he showed his stuff. He's a great actor, and he deserved at least one Oscar, because he was going to get an Oscar. When I saw, that's what I'm trying to say. If I didn't think from watching that movie, from watching Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, that Chadwick Boseman was never going to get an Oscar because he just wasn't good enough an actor, then I would have been like, well, them's the breaks, But watching this movie, I was like, this guy's a good enough actor. He would have got an Oscar. He would have at least got other Oscar nominations, and he was going to win one day. Just like watching Heath Ledger in The Joker, that's why I don't mind it, even though I think, would you usually get an Oscar nomination for playing a comic book villain? Probably not. Would he have won? Probably not if he was alive. but was he going to win an Oscar in future given that performance? You're damn skippy he was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's how I kind of measure it. And I think you mentioned James Dean, right?
Yeah.
Did he get he got an Oscar posthumous Oscar for one of his movies, right?
Yeah, I think it was
East of Eden or East of
it was
Eden or
it was either that or
the
one of teenage kind of
Rebel
Rebel with a
Without a
Cause.
Cause.
Rebel Without a Cause.
Without a,
Either that or Rebel
yeah,
Without a Cause.
yeah, which is a great fucking movie. So yeah, he was gonna get one as well. So you know, I think that should be the kind of standard, really. All right, so let's move on to our next topic since we've gone on about Chadwick Boseman amongst a bunch of other stuff. So let's look at the Oscar movies that we've seen. So ranking the Oscar movies that we've seen. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the Oscar movies this year, and we're going to talk about which ones we've seen. And how you would rank the ones that you have seen. So which ones are the best ones?
Damn. Okay.
So I'll tell you, I haven't seen as many as I should have.
I've seen a lot of them.
Oh, you've seen a lot of them. That's good.
And I will
So
say this, man. What I've seen. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what I've seen. I've seen The Black Messiah, Judas and the Black Messiah. I've seen The Trial of the Chicago 7. I've seen One Night in Miami. I've seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and I've seen all the black ones basically. And I've seen Promising Young Woman. Right. I'm yet to see Minari or Sound of Metal. I didn't know Another Round was Oscar nominated this year, but I want to see that because I think Mads Mikkelsen is fucking amazing in everything. You know Mads Mikkelsen, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Sound of Metal. I want to see that as well. Again, another actor I'm a huge fan of. I haven't seen Mank, which was, you know, I didn't hear great things about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nomadland. What else was there?
Down there.
There's a lot of them. Yeah. Why is it doing it like this? Can't I see just?
Yeah, and they're like a list of you.
Yeah, I just want to see a. So, all right. Talking about the one. All right, and I haven't seen The Father either, so I didn't see The Father. So talking about the ones that we have seen, which ones were you impressed by this year?
Let's see. Judas and the Black Messiah, excellent film. Pretty much the black ones. Promising Young Woman, hadn't seen that. The Father hadn't seen it.
I've seen Promising Young Woman. That one's I'll tell you about that after.
Okay. Nobody. I saw that last night. It was pretty good.
Nobody isn't nominated.
Oh, okay. So Sound of Metal is nominated. I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Let's try and get the Oscar movies 2021 list. See if I can get a better view of these. Okay, we can just do it this way. Okay, so we so this one is one that pissed me off. Nomadland was the winner for directing by Chloe Zhao. Nominees, Another Round. Oh wow, that was nominated for best directing. Mank, which is David Fincher, Minari, Lee Isaac Chung, and Promising Young Woman Emerald Fennell. That's
I haven't seen
interesting.
any of those.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom didn't get Best Directing. That's fucking crazy. So Best Picture. Here we go. Nomadland, The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah, Mank, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and Trial of the Chicago 7. So there's some huge snubs. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom doesn't get it again. Now, here's the one that, you know, I really have to call out in all of this. This is a decent movie, and it's, you know, it's a good movie. It's worth watching. But I don't think Judas and the Black Messiah deserved it more than Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And I don't believe it deserved it over One Night in Miami. I've only seen it once. I may have had, this may be my 12 years a slave shit coming back to haunt me again. And I might watch it again and think a completely different thing. I thought Judas and the Black Messiah was a paint by numbers biography. It was sad because I know what happened in real life. So that was sad, and I get that. But the way it was directed, I didn't, you know, think it did anything particularly different for me. And the Trial of the Chicago 7, I liked a bit more. But again, I liked it a little bit more than Judas and the Black Messiah. But again, I don't even think it's in the same league as One Night in Miami or Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I think both of those movies are way better than Judas and the Black Messiah and the Trial of the Chicago 7 and Promising Young Woman. Yeah, so I would say that those movies are way better than the ones. Now, I haven't seen The Father, I haven't seen Nomadland, I haven't seen Mank, I haven't seen Minari, so I can't, or Sound of Metal, so I cannot make similar assertions about those. But I don't think the Trial of the Chicago 7, Judas and the Black Messiah, or Promising Young Woman, I think they're all worthy of nomination, but not over those two movies.
Interesting. Very interesting. I have to disagree. I would say, for me, I'll put Judas and the Black Messiah 1, One Night in Miami 2, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom 3, and Trial of the Chicago 7 4.
Interesting.
Now, for me,
why do you think the Black Messiah for you is so high? I'm fascinated by what is it about it?
Well, like you, I know the history of it. I've read books on the Black Panther Party. Studied a lot of what they did and what they stood for. And it was basically history put on film, right? Because you see the character of what's his name? I forget the guy's name. But
you're talking about Fred Hampton.
Not Fred Hampton, the other guy.
The Judas guy. I don't know.
I forget his name. You see, him, the real him. You saw him doing the interview. You see, I mean, it was just the way it was put on film was great. Because we don't know a lot about Fred Hampton because he died so young, right? He was murdered so young. And so we can only go by what we know from what we do know about him biographically and from his friends he hung out with and people that knew him, right? And when you take all that and what Kaluuya, whatever, I can never pronounce the guy's name, what he was able to do with the information that he had, put it on film, put in the egg. I mean, it was just magnificent. I think everyone played their role really well. Even the Judas guy was excellent. That's a role I would hate to play, right? Because I might have mental issues after playing that role. Um, and it was just the cast was just great, right? And for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, this is the thing with that. Even though I enjoyed the film, I thought no,
Mhm.
everybody that did the role did a great job. I found myself watching it more because it was Chadwick Boseman's last role,
Mhm.
right? It wasn't for oh, I want to see it because of this cast of this star-studded cast. It was more so okay, Chadwick Boseman's last role. Let me just
But
see it.
here's the thing where I disagree with you on that. That's precisely why I think this film is so good, because it it sucked me in immediately, almost immediately, even though I didn't give a shit about anything. Like, it wasn't like I'm really a huge fan of the blues and this particular woman's story, and I've been, wanting to know. Whereas Judas and the Black Messiah, I've been like, I've wanted a film about that for a long time. I'm a huge. I was like hugely into reading about the Black Panthers when I was
Hmm.
like younger, and I just thought it was so tragic what happened to them, and I've always been interested to see it on film and explored in film in an interesting way. Um, and what I saw, I was just like, this isn't. It's not bad. It's not great filmmaking. It's not. What I saw in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is directing and filmmaking that enhanced a story so that it was cohesive in a way that it caught my attention, even though the topic was not something that particularly, did it for me. And the trial of the Chicago Seven um was really good, really nice script, um really fun to, if fun is the word to say, but like it was funny, it had humor, it had heart, it had, drama. um but I think it was held back a little bit by some of the melodramatic directing.
Yeah.
There were certain scenes where it was like the music was rousing when the judge was like, that typical kind of scene where the judge is finally shown up and he's going order, 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 and he's completely lost the crowd, right? That
Hmm.
it was just held back by little things like that, but the performances were strong, the story was strong, the script was strong. There was nothing particularly, there's nothing bad about that movie necessarily. It deserves an Oscar nomination, it deserves recognition. But when you've got fine films like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and One Night in Miami, which are pieces of Black history that I didn't ever think I wanted to know. But then
Mm.
watching it, I didn't think I needed to know. But then watching it, I was like, no, this is important.
Yeah.
This is actually really, really getting to something, especially One Night in Miami. It touched on themes about being Black that were historically specific, but universal at the same time. And I feel translate to any human being in a way, about what the meaning of success is and what one ought to do with success and what it means about taking a stand in the world and whether it's worth taking a stand in the world or just going with the flow,
Hmm.
of things, right? Like if for all intents and purposes, these people, apart from Malcolm X, had escaped the greatest pitfalls of being Black due to their individual talents. You know, they had gone past some of the problems of being Black, And it was that question of whether they want to, at this point, when they are past the biggest pitfalls that come with poverty and being black, right? Or, you know, not being famous, not being world renowned and being black, do they want to step out into the light and then throw themselves back into the problems that they've escaped from? And that's what Muhammad Ali, and that's what Sam Cooke, and that's what was the footballer's name?
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown had to decide. And those were big universal questions that I think, again, anybody could ask themselves when they've made that amount of money. Do we want to step out and cause ourselves the issues that, you know, we've now got past because we can't stand by what is the status quo? We have to come out, you know, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a really important thing, you know. It's a unique take. It's not just telling us what we already know. We already know that what happened to the Black Panthers was fucking horrible. Not everyone does, it's true. And some people need to watch that movie, and it's an important movie to watch in that sense, to know just how disgraceful what happened to Fred Hampton was. But at the same time, that didn't tell me anything new.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
No, go on. I was saying I see what you mean.
It's like preaching to the converted. And that was the problem I had with 12 Years a Slave when I first watched it. So maybe I have to give Judas and the Black Messiah another watch, because when you're just doing films that are preaching to the converted, it just doesn't seem, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's kind of why I put One Eye Miami and Judas and Black Messiah kind of 1 and 2. They can kind of alternate depending on how I feel after watching it again. Because they were both such great messages in those films, right? You have, I mean, and you're right. I do agree with, it's you know about the situation, right? You just basically telling me what I already know. You're not telling me something that I don't know, right? And I can see that. And I felt the same way. It's like, okay, I knew about this. I knew about that, right? And One Night in Miami, like I said, the more I think about it, the more I love it, right? And you have a first-time director. You have the what?
Regina King got robbed.
Yeah,
Regina King got robbed. She needed to get
director. You got a guy playing Malcolm X who nobody knows who he is, really, unless you just know who he is. You have a guy in play Muhammad Ali, who I never knew who the guy was. I never seen before in my life. Did an excellent job imitating Muhammad Ali, right? And you have the guy to play Sam Cooke, who I remember seeing him in that musical Hamilton. I think he got some award for that.
I think he won, didn't he?
Yeah, he won an award for, was it a Grammy or something? I can't remember what it was. But
did he not win the Oscar?
Well, did he get an Oscar for Hamilton?
Best actor in a supporting role, Daniel Kaluuya.
Oh, I was Judas and the Black Messiah. He played Fred.
He won, but why is he in a supporting role? He's the fucking star of that movie. Here's the one that fucking kills me. Here's the one that kills me about actor in a supporting role. Sacha Baron Cohen. What is he doing in there? What is he doing in there?
Dude, nothing he does is funny to me. Nothing he does.
Oh no! I'm not gonna say nothing he does is funny to me. Like I'm not. We can have that conversation. I'm sure.
Now, when he was he Ollie G back in the day?
Ali G was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. But the Borat stuff is just stupid funny. It's like, what? It's just stupid.
No, but he got it for One Night in Miami. No, sorry, he got it for Trial of the Chicago 7.
Hmm.
That's his nomination.
You
So
know,
if
he
you
was
see,
supposed to play
if you
Freddie Mercury in that Queen movie.
that would have suited him better.
Yeah, but somebody he wanted more gay scenes or something like that, and they were like, "No," and I forgot what happened. But he would have made a perfect Freddie Mercury. Damn near looks like
Yeah,
him.
yeah. But the trial of the Chicago Seven, he wasn't even the best actor in that. In that film, he was not the best actor. There were better performances in the trial of the Chicago Seven. There's a guy in it that you probably wouldn't even recognize called Jeremy Strong, who was in that. He was playing the hippie friend.
Jeremy Strong, Jeremy Strong. What else was he in?
He's in a really good series called Succession. I don't know if
Because
you've
I
seen
know
that.
the
We,
name.
we have we have to you have to watch that. But anyway, look, Jeremy Strong's better in it. Eddie Redmayne's better in it. The guy who played the other Black Panther. What's his name? Um, what are the Black Panthers' names? The leaders of the Black Panthers. Come on, man. We know this. We're two
Uh,
black guys. We're two
dude, I'm so
educated
tired.
black
My
guys.
brain farts all day.
Yeah. There was. Oh, for God's sake! I've forgotten. Okay, but the guy who played the other Black Panther was excellent in it. Yahya Jabul or whatever. And you're right. I've been having brain aneurysms today as well. I don't know
Dude,
what's wrong
everybody's
with
name is
me.
getting mixed up in my head right now.
Yeah. Bloody hell. But yeah, in the end, what I was saying is that he just wasn't the best in that movie, and that spot for best supporting actor should have been the Malcolm X guy. They
You know
chose
what?
one person from One Night in Miami, and there ought to have been three people nominated from that movie, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, the Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Muhammad Ali. All three should have been nominated because they all
And
did. Even
I
Jim
was
Brown.
gonna I was gonna say Jim Brown. Jim
Yeah.
Brown should have been in that as well. I would put Jim Brown over Muhammad Ali, but only because they didn't give the Muhammad Ali actor that scene. You know, he
Yeah.
didn't really have that scene. It's just his imitation of Muhammad Ali was the most spot on imitation we've ever seen
Yeah.
today.
And
He
I
just
think that was
played Muhammad Ali.
I wish I'd have seen those actors try to emulate those characters a lot more than imitate them. Even though they did a great job with the imitations.
Mm.
It there wasn't anybody in that film besides the guy that played Sam Cooke that I forgot who they were, right? And Malcolm X, I say that. Like I forgot. Oh damn, I forgot this was an actor, right? And Sam Cooke. Oh man, I forgot he's just acting as Sam Cooke, right? He did a great job in that. Jim Brown, I kind of knew who he was already as an actor, so he didn't really do anything to make me think, oh man, I forgot that's not Jim Brown.
But
That's somebody.
he was good. He
He
was
was
good
good.
in the movie.
He was good
He
though.
was.
Now I got to see
So
Chicago 7 again because I only seen it once, and it was that's why I put a fourth on the list. Because
I
it's
let me rank them. Okay,
okay.
so you rank them now. I'm gonna put Promising Young Woman in there because I've seen Promising Young Woman.
Okay.
So I would rank these movies, the ones that Oscar movies that I've seen. One Night in Miami, number one.
Okay.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, number two.
Interesting. Okay.
Promising Young Woman, number three.
Wow, I got to see that movie then. I got.
Um, Trial of the Chicago numbers. Trial of the
Oh
Chicago
my
Seven,
God!
number
Don't do it to
four.
me. Don't do it to me.
And the Judas and the Black Messiah
Oh
comes
no!
in last. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Like
I got to see
again,
Promising Young Woman.
not that
I got to
not
see
that
it.
I'm not that I'm saying that it shouldn't have been nominated. It should have been. The reason I say Promising Young Woman is simply because the idea is very original. It's unique. There are some spots in it that are quite weak, but it has a very, very strong third act. But it has like some weak spots in the middle there. And the performance by, the actress who plays Carrie Mulligan is so fucking good that, you can't kind of, it keeps you going with the movie. So it's a strong performance. It's just a strong little indie film, but it's not, it feels like that whoever the writer or creator is just kind of scratching the surface of what they can do. But it's a cool little concept for a movie. But there are bits about it I thought were weak. Bits about it I didn't like as well. Certain things, because it's very much in this kind of Me Too generation kind of stuff. And there were aspects I didn't like about that. Not that I disagreed with what it was saying, but I disagreed with some of the presentation of what it was saying and the implications of it. I didn't like the implications of like what it's saying. Not about men. I don't know how to put it. Like, I don't want to spoil it for you. Maybe when you've seen it, we can do a review of it together.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out later on tonight.
But it's certainly like I'm not against what it was saying about men that are like that, but I don't know about the presentation. The presentation made it feel as if it was saying that kind of like all men go to clubs to rape women. And it's just like I understand that there are men out there, a lot of men out there who kind of are like that, but it isn't the majority. It's nowhere near the majority. And it feels like that every night she goes to a club and she's looking to find a guy who's going to pick her up when she's drunk and try and, have his way with her. It doesn't quite work exactly like that, maybe in America. I don't know about you Americans, man, but like certainly I don't think in the UK it's like that, but well, anyway, so next topic, unless you have something else you wanted to say about the Oscar movies, we've got to see The Father.
Yeah, and I want to see Nomadland too, because for her getting Best Director for that, I got to see that film.
Yeah, we got to see Nomadland and we've got to see The Father. Those are the ones that will really settle the debate for us. I want to see also that other Asian that looks quite good. I was more interested in that one than Nomadland, to be honest. So there was. I can't believe Ma Rainey's another round I want to watch as well, but I can't believe Ma Rainey is not in Best Movie or Best Directing. It's really well directed.
Well, for me, I kind of put it along with Fences, the Denzel Washington film, because they were both based off plays. You're pretty much not saying this is an excuse, but you are putting which sort of play on film, right? And so, it's like, I don't know, man. It's because I've seen the play, right? And I knew what was going to happen. I knew all that stuff already. So my thing was, okay, can they adapt this to film and can they do it justice, right? And they did. But
what about the cinematography? The cinematography was beautiful. Definitely the hair and makeup style was beautiful.
Oh yeah, I mean,
how did it get none of that?
Costumes, everything was great. You know what I mean? Viola Davis was outstanding, even though she wasn't in it for long. I tell you, the guy that played her nephew was even
Yeah,
good. That those little few little minutes, right, that he was in
yeah,
it, and it was just
yeah.
everyone that was in the film did their part well. I wasn't a
Mm.
fan of Ma Rainey's girlfriend in it,
Oh,
but
she was good. She
she
was
was
good.
good. She kind of reminded me of the never mind, I can't think her name anyway. But it's I think they were robbed because they should have gotten something. Right now, didn't they get best costume designer thoughts on that thing? Costumes or
Hmm.
whatever. And so, but it's the film was more than just costumes, right? I mean, it was just you see in the end of it when Viola Davis signs those papers, you can see in her eyes, you can see she's pretty much selling the power that she had over
Oh,
Paramount Records. She's giving it back to him because that's the power she had. Remember, she was having a conversation saying, "I brought him all this money. They can't give me a Coca Cola." Right? You know what I mean?
right,
She was going on
right.
that, but that was serious, right? And and of course, a vast majority of those characters in a film and in the play are fictional, besides Ma Rainey and a couple other people.
Mm, mm,
They
mm.
they did even Chadwick Boseman learning how to play that whatever instrument he was playing. He learned how to play it for that
Oh,
movie.
wow,
Yeah, if you
wow,
look at the Netflix behind the scenes or whatever, it talks about how he was learning how to play so he can look authentic in the role.
wow. Okay, yeah, he was just great. I mean, he really was. There, I think it was bordering on an electric performance. It was
Yeah.
bordering on an electric performance. I don't know if it quite got there. Viola Davis is just a national treasure at this point.
Yeah. And it was
She
funny.
she's just
Uh,
so good. Like I watched Suicide Squad, and we'll talk about this in the next topic. But I watched Suicide Squad, and I just watched that for Viola. That's probably the reason I like that movie, and other people don't. It's just because I think Viola Davis one was an inspired choice to play Amanda Waller, and
mhm.
then two, I was just like that movie was all hers. She made the Joker look like a bitch, bruh. I was like, this Amanda Waller cat would just take out the Joker with no problem, like whatsoever. Um, but anyway, speaking of, it was Minari that I want to watch, and it's Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale.
Bobby Seale, that's it.
Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale.
Hugh P.
Just
Newton, Bobby
remember.
Seale. Can't believe I forgot Hugh P. Newton's name. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. He's one of my like he was one of my heroes growing up as a child. I found out about what he did later on in life recently, which was kind of weird, like blackballing people and doing
Yeah.
getting really paranoid and stuff. I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
Kind of
he suffered from
upsetting.
paranoid delusions because he was, and I'm sure he had good reason. You know, the government was after him. You know, and he was extremely paranoid. I don't know if you've
Mm,
seen the guy. I can't think of the actor's name. He's a real fair skinned black guy, real high yellow. He was in a movie Get on the Bus. He was I don't know if you've seen the movie Dope or not, but that was a pretty decent
yeah,
film. Okay, the
decent.
guy
That's
that
really.
was they had to get the drugs for the real high yellow guy.
Oh, I can't remember. I've only seen it
Okay.
once,
Well,
but it's a
he
really
did a
good film.
one man act where he played Huey P. Newton, and it was great.
Okay. All right. I forgot you're an actor. That's right.
But
You're an actor. That's why you're like so emulate versus imitate.
yeah, because it's some people are easy to imitate, right? But to emulate them is making them your own, right? You don't necessarily have to be them all the way, but carry on their essence of who they are, right? And that's why I love Denzel's Malcolm more compared to the other guy, One Eye Miami. Not saying the One Eye Miami guy was bad; he did a great job, but I saw him more imitating, how he stood, the raspiness with the voice. He was imitating Malcolm. He wasn't becoming Malcolm. Right. And not
But
saying
he
that's a
did
bad
become
thing.
Malcolm. I think he did become Malcolm in the, like in the imitation. It was such a good imitation that it just became him.
Oh yeah, it's a
And I don't
perfect
think
imitation.
I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of imitation in a way. But you're right. You're right. Like it is true what you're saying. So let's go on to our last. Well, we've got. We'll talk quickly about Viola Davis, since we were on the Viola Davis train, and then we'll go on to our last segment, underrated Black movies. So Viola Davis, we've said a lot about her already. You know, it's fast becoming the question to me: has she taken over from Melanie Streep
I think
as
so.
the best actress in Hollywood? I honestly, is it Melanie Streep? Is
Meryl
that
Streep.
right?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Wow. Let's see what's going on with my brain today. Meryl Streep is a fantastic actress. She's really good in just about everything. I mean, and she can imitate, she can emulate, she can fucking do all of it,
Yeah.
right? She's got such a fantastic body of work. And she is one of the greatest living actresses. I've never felt like compelled to watch a movie because Meryl Streep is in it,
I
though.
agree.
And I don't know what that is. There's something, she does such a great job, but there's something, I don't know, like missing for me that I like in actresses that she doesn't necessarily do for me. And so like the actresses that I like are more like uh Regina Williams is a
Okay.
fucking fantastic actress. Um, um, like I'm also like like who's Catwoman? Michelle Pfeiffer. Trying to think of my favorite actresses now. Oh, Rebecca Hall. I don't know if you know Rebecca Hall.
What was she in?
She's in Vicky Cristina Barcelona. She's in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be the Mandarin originally in Iron Man 3, and she would have been way better if it was her, if it was revealed that it was her in the end. Then, but they didn't want to make a female into the Mandarin, so good. But she's a fantastic actress. So actors like them are like the top of their game. Like to me, Rebecca Hall is the most underrated. Viola Davis is now the best.
Okay, I can see that.
So you need to watch Rebecca Hall. Like if you like Viola Davis, you'll like Rebecca Hall. They've got not a similar vibe about them, but like she plays those strong women really well as well. Like those takes no bullshit, but she can also play really vulnerable women as well, like and do it just as compellingly. And she just, I don't know, like she's in between emulation and imitation as well.
Okay.
And she brings herself into the role in a way that is powerful. I'll send you a couple of films of hers that I think are her best role. I also think Nicole Kidman is actually a really good actress. So like Nicole
Yeah.
Kidman, I'm more likely to watch a film because Nicole Kidman's in it than to watch it because Meryl Streep is in a film.
I agree with that.
But Viola Davis is just, I don't know what to say. She's sensational. Even in movies, I think I'm not going to be interested in. It's Viola. Like I put it on for 5 minutes. I see Viola Davis do her thing, and she just steals the whole fucking film from anyone she's in it with.
I
You
think
know.
my first full film that I've seen her in was probably The Help, but I had seen her in little smaller roles prior to it.
Mm,
I don't know if
mm.
you've seen it with Kate Leopold, but she was a police officer coming up to God, Hugh Jackman, right? It's a good, you know, chick flick romance date type of movie where Leopold, the guy who created the elevator, somehow goes back in time. I mean, goes forward in time. And long story short, has a romantic relationship with God, I can't think. I'm having brain farts all day. Oh my god. Anyway, Viola Davis, while he's walking the dog, is a police officer that gives him a ticket for not cleaning up the dog poop. Right?
All
I
right.
mean, she's in it for like you probably YouTube it, but she's in it for like 2 minutes. Even though 2 minutes, she steals the scene in those 2 minutes, right? And she's what I
Yeah.
would call a scene stealing perfectionist, great actress. I mean, she just everything she's in, whether it's 2 minutes to 2 hours, she does an
Mm.
excellent job.
Yeah,
And
she
it's
is
just,
absolutely. You're right. She's the scene stealer. That's what they should call her. They should just call her scene stealer. Like, I think my first film that I saw her in, which I noticed, like, even from a scene, I was just like, who is this chick? And she got Oscar nominated for it, I think. Best Supporting Actress. It was, it's not called Shame. It's something like Shame. It's got Philip Seymour Hoffman in it as a priest, and it's got Meryl Streep in it as a nun. And
hmm,
Meryl Streep suspects that Philip Seymour Hoffman is basically doing stuff with the boys of the parish, right? And so Viola Davis, her son is one of the boys,
hmm.
right? And
I don't think I've ever seen that film.
you've got to watch it. And obviously, Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Oh yeah, outstanding.
you know his name, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's fucking
He's
amazing.
outstanding.
He's
Yeah.
outstanding, right? So bad that he died. That was so upsetting. I was just like, there's so many great performances left in that guy. He would have been the Penguin in a Batman movie. I
Oh
just
yeah.
know it. They would have hired him eventually. He's just incredible. And so, yeah, that movie is like Viola Davis, Meryl Streep, Philip Seymour Hoffman. You can't, you can't lose, right? And she just comes in, and you've got Meryl Streep doing one of the best performances, probably my favorite performances. One of my, at least in the top 5 Meryl Streep performances is that role. And she just comes in and steals the scene from Meryl Streep. It's like it's fucking crazy. She just doesn't play around, Viola Davis. I wanted her to get an Amanda Waller movie. I thought she was that good in Suicide Squad, and no one agrees with me on this. I think watch that movie again. She does she says anything, you believe that she's gonna fucking kill you, and she's capable of it. Like you don't want to fuck with this woman. And hats off to the director for giving her such a robust role in that movie. There were stupid elements to Suicide Squad. There's no denying that. It lacked some fundamental storytelling. It had some fundamental storytelling issues, but I liked the characters. I liked Will Smith. I liked Viola Davis, and I liked Harley Quinn. I thought that was the best Harley Quinn has been in any of these movies.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
You know, And I think I bet you, I can bet you right now that she was better in Suicide Squad than she's going to be in the new Suicide Squad.
I agree.
I'm going to say it right now because he added layers and vulnerability to her in the former Suicide Squad. So it was more of a three-dimensional character than even though that's kind of weird to say considering the movie was so one-dimensional. But like she was really good in that movie as well. So, but Viola Davis, yeah. So that's just wanted to talk about her. So let's have one last thing: Viola Davis or Regina. What's her name again?
Regina King.
Huh? Regina King. There we go. Viola Davis or Regina King?
Viola Davis, hands down. Even Regina King does a thing, but Viola Davis, yes, of course. Pick Viola Davis.
Yeah, all right. It's not even going to be an argument then.
But
yeah,
you know what?
Regina.
Before we go on, the director I would love Viola Davis to work with, mainly because he does great with dialogue. Guy Ritchie. I would love to see a film with Guy Ritchie and Viola Davis.
Yeah, and Quentin Tarantino and
Quentin
Viola
Tarantino,
Davis.
just a dialogue alone would be so fucking epic.
Yeah. She needs to do because just play that hard woman. Like she does it different every time.
Yeah.
But like she plays the tough woman better than anybody else, bruh. There's no like straight up. If you want a woman to intimidate people, right, just get Viola Davis. Don't even fuck around. Don't look for anyone else. Viola Davis. There's no like in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, the way she plays that role, dude. And you think about it in comparison with Amanda Waller, right? And it's two very different types of just like the one, she's this diva, singer, basically blues singer, and she's playing that kind of like you know musical diva essentially that asserts her power in an almost I don't know like how the word to use, but like it's a different form of asserting power. Like they're very, very different characters, but she does it so well in either one that you just believe, like you just wouldn't fuck with Ma Rainey.
Yeah.
You would not
Dude,
fuck
I
with that
want to go
woman.
get her a Coke after that conversation she had.
Like I was about to go to the shop.
Like I'll get her a Coke. That's what she wants.
Just don't do whatever. Just talking to the policeman like he was like
like she didn't care. She did not care at all who you were. She was gonna get hers regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she does it so well. She does it so well. She has a power. If she wills it, she doesn't throw it all at you at once. She gradually puts that power down on you more and more. Like she's fantastic.
My favorite scene was when she just lost it, and it was just go and get my nephew the money. She just loses it at one point and looks at him, and I think the actor probably felt it himself. He was just like, actually, I'm just gonna go and get this woman her money, but it was really, really good. She reminds me of my mum in a way. That's probably why I like Viola Davis. She reminds me of like the matriarchal black mother, like not that she's like motherly or anything, but I'm just saying that's what's funny about it for me. I think my mother would have played a good Ma Rainey. My mother would have been a very good Ma Rainey. All right, let's go on to our last topic: underrated black movies. Oh.
So are we picking from lists or just come on top of our heads?
We could go for a list.
Okay.
You want to go from a list?
Because the more we talk, the more it's gonna pop in my head. Like, oh yeah, this one. Oh yeah, this
So I'm gonna throw one out to you. I'm gonna throw one out to you.
Okay, now
After
first, what is the criteria for a black film? Black directed, black starring, or does it matter?
black directed or black starring
Awesome. Okay.
or black written, could be black written as well, if you know that.
Yeah.
So we've got some here. Um,
Dope.
oh,
Very underrated. I love that movie.
Dope is really, really good, and it is really underrated. It's why I really wanted to see, Rick Famuyiwa's Flash movie. I thought it
Yeah.
fit the Flash world so well, that movie. Do you know what I mean? It had that
Yeah.
sense of fun and vibrancy that you'd expect from a Flash movie, and like playfulness and humor with the back and forth. So Dope is a great movie. Yeah, that's a good shout as a really, really underrated black movie. I've got to say, sorry to bother you. Have you seen that crazy fucking film yet?
I saw a little bit of it, and what I saw was so crazy and weird. That's like, let me come back to this. I can't because it's
It,
not bad. It's so bad it's good. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. And when he starts imitating the stereotypical white male voice, it's like that doesn't even it don't even fit. You look at it, he sounds you're like, what in the hell? And
When
then
Danny Glover starts doing it as well, it's
yeah,
weird, right? Like, and you
yeah,
just
it's like
they
you have to
get
be high to actually
watch the
understand.
movie.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's like a message in it that I haven't gotten yet, but it is just
Dude,
yeah, I can
that
see that being
movie is
underrated.
fucking crazy, man. Everyone watch sorry to bother you if you ever watch this strange podcast at the moment. Hopefully in future we'll pick up in terms of our views. But yeah, like sorry to bother you is fucking excellent, man. I like I found it so bizarre and kind of like a David Lynch movie, but like
Hmm.
a comedy version of a David Lynch movie. It was just a head trip. And I at first I thought I wasn't gonna like it like you. I was like, what is this shit, man? This is
That's what I was
fucking
thinking too, and
bizarre.
I'm like, is this supposed to be funny? Because it's funny. Like,
Yeah, yeah. But then after a while, it really picks up, and then you get into it, and it's like a great movie. Um, I'm gonna throw one out there, like that. I don't know if you've seen, but have you ever seen The Summer of Sam?
Oh, great fucking film.
Yeah,
Loved it.
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee when he was still headed to his peak. You know what I mean? I don't know what happened to him, but it's
That movie got trashed. Like people were like, "That was a bad movie." I don't know what they
I
saw. I
loved it.
thought that was excellent. That movie. I thought it's not technically like I would say it's a black movie because it's directed by a black director. But
Hmm.
obviously it's not really, it doesn't really focus too much on central characters that are black.
Yeah.
But it's in my top 5 Spike Lee movies. And naming another Spike Lee movie that I think doesn't get enough traction but is an excellent movie, and I'd couple it with Summer of Sam, is the Edward Norton one. Uh, what is that Edward Norton movie he did?
Was it the skinhead one?
No.
Okay.
He did an Edward Norton movie.
Huh. I don't know he did that or another movie.
I will find out just now. You talk about another underrated movie while I find this out.
Well, since we're talking about Spike Lee at the moment, I'm gonna throw in Jungle Fever.
Absolutely. I don't know
School
if that's
Days.
underrated though. School Days is underrated.
School
But
Days. Well,
I don't know
yeah,
if
I
I
can
don't
see what
know
you're saying.
if Jungle Fever is underrated exactly. I think that's a bit of a classic.
Miracle at St. Anna, I thought was a brilliant film.
I have to see School Days and Miracle at St. Anna because I love Spike Lee, but
Mm-hmm.
there are some movies that kind of put me off where I was just like, I can't just watch every Spike Lee movie. It was just like that. I started with the obvious one, which I probably watched from childhood, which was Do the Right Thing, which I fucking love.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
once in a while, it would come on Channel 4, and every time I'd just be like, all right, I'm sitting down watching Do the Right Thing. It's amazing. So that was an amazing film when I was younger, even. I love Jungle Fever from when I was younger. That was another film that came on quite a lot on Channel 4 in the UK.
He Got
And
Game
then,
is another one he did that was real good. I don't know if you can call it underrated, but I love the film.
yeah, I think that was his first movie, wasn't it? She's Got Game.
He got
That
no,
was
that
his
was
first
no his first Spike Lee's first movie was I don't think it was School Days. It might have been before School Days. I'm not sure.
It was definitely before School Days. It was one where I know it was one where it's like a woman is the central character and she's got like a big high top.
Yeah, I can't think.
I can't remember. I'm pretty
Because
sure it's She's Got Game.
it could be. It could be.
Um,
I'm looking at this Black Dynamite is a if you haven't seen that movie, dude, it is so funny. It is so good. It is just I would probably be pissed if I went to the movie theaters to see it. But just sitting at home watching it, it's basically a black exploitation spoof starring Michael J. White, and this is good. I like it.
it's called Black Dynamite.
Yeah. It's on that list right next to Glory.
Oh, right. Okay, I have to see that one. All right, I'm gonna throw some in now. I'm gonna throw in. We have one that we can look at here, which is Harlem Nights.
I don't know if that's a classic. That is a classic.
Dude, you'll be shocked. Let me show you Harlem Nights on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's look at it. On Rotten Tomatoes. See that score?
That is ridiculous.
Yep.
Harlem Nights is hilarious. It's a classic. It's a cool gangster kind of gambling kind of. I mean, what are they thinking?
I know. Eddie Murphy got fucked in the 90s, and that's when he started doing all those shit movies just to make money. You look at Eddie Murphy's Rotten Tomatoes in the 90s, and I've got to say, I think it was racism. I'm not gonna. I don't actually say that, but I think this was just plain straight up racism. They didn't like Eddie Murphy making his movies, and them, like certain people, they accepted him when he was in Beverly Hills Cop, when he was being written by someone else, and oh, for fuck's sake, I hate this stupid thing. Eddie Murphy got screwed. Like, there was The Golden Child. Do you remember The Golden Child?
I like that movie.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Right? Yeah. It's another one that got like completely screwed in the ratings. Well,
like, I'm not the type of guy that likes to tell people they don't know film, but they don't know film. they get at a bad Rotten Tomatoes score. That is
actually
really cool movie.
I would say it's not just. It could be racism, but I would say more that shows why people were criticizing what's that woman who plays Captain Marvel? What's her name?
Oh yeah, I forget her name. Yeah.
But people were criticizing what she was saying about critics, and she was saying, look, this wasn't made for, like, I don't care what some white male critic thinks of this film. And perhaps, that film wasn't actually very good. So it probably, like, that probably was, if that probably wasn't the film to highlight this problem with.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems to me that maybe, a white person watching this film, it just doesn't, it doesn't strike a chord in the same way with black people, because I think, as you said, to most black people, that movie's a classic. And I'm sure Asian people and black people, if there were more Asian critics and black critics when films like The Golden Child came out, you'd probably have people saying that score would have been much higher. I think that certain critics just that humor and that stuff doesn't speak to them as much.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Eddie Murphy got really silly afterwards, which doesn't help, because people now don't go back and go, oh, actually, the critics were really wrong about those movies. So, yeah, when I say a certain type of people, it doesn't speak to them. I'm not talking about white people in general. I think most white people would like the movie. I think it's like certain, like, Harvard educated, like, I'm cinema, like, that kind of critic, I don't think would judge that film as fairly on what it should be judged on,
Mm-hmm.
So yes. So
Dead Presidents is a good one. Looking at it right there.
Dead Presidents is
Love
one.
Drama. Both
Dead
of those.
Presidents. I really like Dead Presidents, but at the same time, I watch it and I'm like, that's a depressing movie. I mean, that's more depressing. That's way more depressing to me than 12 Years a Slave, even. I don't know why, because 12 Years a Slave is looking at something that is sad, really sad. I mean, obviously, the whole institution of slavery is very, very fucking miserable. And there's hardly a happy beat in it, in 12 Years a Slave. I guess because at least he's free by the end.
Yeah. But he ends up dying mysteriously later on in life. So it was.
All right. Yeah. So even
so it is a little depressing in a way.
they take that away from us. So yeah.
Eve's Bayou was a pretty good one. Jason's Lyric, of course, is a classic.
All right. Let's talk about any more ones that maybe. So you've seen Summer of Sam, which I thought you might not have seen that one. But you have not.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
But you haven't seen 25th Hour.
I don't think so.
That's the Edward Norton Spike Lee movie. Watch it.
Really? Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Then.
Very, very good. Very good. I was gonna say that is one of Spike Lee's. That should have got an Oscar nomination. Those are the Spike Lee movies. Summer of Sam and that one should have got Oscar nominated. And he was robbed. He was just clearly robbed. Should it have won? Maybe not. Should have been nominated? Absolutely. Absolutely. It was a very fine film. Both of them were very fine films. And Spike Lee goes out of his comfort zone as well. He doesn't just he talks about the Black experience from so many different perspectives. And he even talks about it through the white perspective as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting body of work, Spike Lee. I think he's an incredibly. He should be up there with the Woody Allens and the Martin Scorseses. You know,
Yeah,
in
I
terms
agree.
of his
I agree.
filmography and what he's done, and he isn't viewed in that light, and I think that's a shame. Um, so last ones. What any throwbacks that we can't remember? Any
I'm gonna go.
kid and
I'm
play
gonna go
movies?
old school. Old. I'm talking about black and white old school, right? Cabin in the
Okay,
Sky. Cabin in
I,
the Sky. It's an old. It
I've
had
never seen it.
it's an old like 1930s 40s classic. Um,
Oh, great.
it was black. I think it was black written and directed. It has God, what is her name? Lena Horne. She's in it. And it's just a great. It's basically a story about a guy, a black man and his wife. Um, I just forgot the synopsis of it already. But anyway, he ends up getting shot or stabbed over gambling.
In the
And
1930s.
1930s, yep. And it had
Wow.
what's that one? Etta Waters, I think, is in it. Ethel Waters, I think, is in it. And the music is great. Just I mean, we think about what black filmmakers had to work with, the Bush had to work with, how outstanding of a job they did with what they could get. It's beautiful. Cabin in the Sky is a
Mhm.
beautiful movie. Let's go to Sidney Poitier. In the Heat of the Night, the film was great. I don't know if he was nominated or got an award for it or not, but if he did, he should have. Um, let's go. He did. Sidney Poitier did another one called uh, it's the one where this blind girl. He kind of helps her out, and she kind of falls in love with him. It's a blind white girl, and she doesn't know he's black until later on in the film, and she doesn't care. I forget the name of that one,
Mm. I don't
but
know the name of that one
yeah.
either.
So I'm going old school with you right now. But it's
I
one
was
of my
gonna,
favorite
I
ones he
was gonna
did.
go, I was gonna go. More money, more problems.
That is a good
That's
one. That is a good
a
one.
great fucking movie,
Uptown
man.
Saturday Night, all over the place. Uptown
That's a
Saturday.
great movie.
Uh, but my favorite Sidney Poitier movie, and this I think is very underrated, To Serve
Mhm.
with Love.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it
I'll
takes
have to
place
see
in
it. What's it about?
it's Sidney Poitier is a black teacher. He starts teaching the way he subs at this kind of, I guess you would call a poor area, middle high school kind of place. And it's predominantly white, of course. I don't think there's any other black person in the whole film that I can think of. Um, and he has a problem because these kids aren't listening to anything he's telling them. He's trying to teach them, and one thing where someone puts a bra or something in the furnace and burns it up. He goes crazy, walks out, comes back in. Somebody puts like a little noose or something on his desk, and he comes up with the idea of, okay, these kids aren't going to be going to college. They're going to be going out in the real world when they get out of here. So why don't I treat them as adults? Teach them how to be adults. And now you start seeing them connecting with the kids, and it's just. I thought it was
That's
it's a great.
interesting. I'll
It's
tell
good.
you. Do you know the only Sidney Poitier movie I've ever seen is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Come
That's the
on, man.
only one I've ever seen.
Come
Yeah, it's
on, man.
terrible, man. I know. I should lose my card or something for that.
No,
But
no,
like,
no, no. You just can't talk
no,
about black movies until you've seen 2 or 3
Sydney.
Sidney Poitier movies.
Am I not allowed to talk about like black movies anymore? Oh, shit.
No, you're fine. I mean,
I,
a lot of people
I
haven't seen a lot of Sidney Poitier stuff. But I'm
again, you
biased
know,
because he's my favorite actor.
I like him a lot as well. Like from that one movie, even I liked him a lot. But like, and I've seen scenes of him that are fantastic. But again, there's something about the genre of movies that he was in a lot of the time that I'm just like I listen to the thing, and I listened to the synopsis or something, and it just doesn't seem like my kind of thing. But I do want to see what the one where he's a detective, and he's investigating, and like, but the people he's investigating are like racist or something. That's the one I want to see, or the police department are racist or something.
That's
like
probably
that.
the heat of the night. That's probably
The heat of the night. I want to watch that one. That sounds like a fucking good one.
And afterwards, he did a movie called "They Call Me Mr. Tibbs."
Is that the one where he slaps the guy? Somebody slaps him in the face and then he slaps him
that's
back?
the heat of the night. That was a funny scene.
Oh, I've got to see that, man. That's the
and
scene
the
I
guy
like.
starts crying, so but there was a time I could have had you shot. I mean, even the butler kind of looked up like, "What the hell is that?" It was a funny scene, but it was. I mean, it was just. And the bad thing I didn't like about it was the guy that played Chief Gillespie, which you'll see when you watch it. He wanted top billing in the film, right? Because I think they weren't even going to put Sidney Poitier's name on the little. Because the movies they had the name of the movie, who was starring in it. And the white guy played Chief Gillespie wanted top billing, even though Sidney Poitier was the main guy in the film. And so it was
wow.
And I think he got an award for it, but I don't think Sidney Poitier did.
And Ray Fisher is mad. Look at what Sidney Poitier had to deal with. What like Get Out and Moonlight. These are two Oscar nominated. Since we're talking about Oscars, these are two Oscar nominated movies. What did you think of them?
See, Get Out. I'll be honest, I fell asleep in that theater when I was watching it because it was a slow burn for me, man. It was a case of trailer trickery where the trailer was better than the film to me.
Absolutely, the premise was a lot better. Than the actual film itself.
And the guy that directed it, I forget what's his name, Jordan Peele.
Yeah, he's a good director. I'm not
good director, but he tricks the shit out of you with these trailers, man. I'm thinking the one he did, Midsummer. I think he produced that one. The trailer, like, I gotta see this. I look at it, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
but it's so bad I can't stop watching it.
Yeah, no, he's a good director. I like his stuff, but I have to say that Get Out did not deserve an Oscar nomination at all.
No.
That was ridiculous. I was just like, this is what I'm talking about, like with the Oscars so black, Oscars so white, kind of thing. And it's just like, it's so obvious that has been put in because of that. And I don't know about Moonlight.
I wish I could see the criteria, how they vote for these things, because I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah. And then there's Moonlight as well. What did you think of Moonlight?
I did not realize that was a gay movie until halfway in. I was not expecting it until I was like, what the? I'm not watching the rest of this.
Are you serious? Come on.
That's your thing. But to me, it was like, what? Nah, I can't agree with it. That ended up actually finishing it, and it was I just didn't do it for me.
I don't know. I didn't mind the gay thing in it.
I didn't mind it. It surprised me.
Oh no, it surprised me a little bit as well. But that was the most interesting part of it to me. The rest of it, I was just like, what am I watching right now?
Yeah.
It was barely even a story. To me, it wasn't a story. I don't know what, when scenes don't seem to connect in a flow to what happened prior. That's what I felt about Moonlight. I was just like, I'm sorry, I didn't even like the other film that year, the musical or whatever that everyone was going on about.
What was that?
With Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
La La Land or something.
La La Land, right? That wasn't that.
Yeah, I didn't even bother to watch it.
I watched it. It was not good. It
Dude, I
was
will watch
really,
Hamilton 10 times in a row before I see that thing once. And
yeah,
Hamilton's a good ass musical.
yeah, but like, so in any case, so Moonlight was, I guess I would actually give Moonlight the Oscar over over La
Over,
La
yeah,
Land.
over Get Out, yeah.
Yeah, but well, over La La Land. No, I'd give Get Out the Oscar over fucking Moonlight. Moonlight was really like, to me, it was like, yeah, it's appropriately titled because I want to go to fucking sleep. Like the moon's like, you're just like that beautiful sleep under the moonlight.
See, have you
Um,
seen I Am Not Your Negro?
I have not. I have
It's
not
good.
seen that.
It's good.
All right, but that's it. I mean, unless we've got any other underrated black movies that
Um,
you can think of right now. I know there's some kids ones. Oh, I've got one. I've got one more that I fucking think is fantastic. The Children Under the Stairs. Not
that's
exactly
a
a black
cult
movie,
classic.
but that is a classic.
Yes,
That is
cult classic. I love it. Love
from
it.
top to bottom a great movie.
And Ving
Um,
Rhames. Ving Rhames has been the same ugly guy from then to now. Like he hasn't changed at all.
yeah.
Now, and speaking of
Who's
Ving Rhames, I was gonna throw out Rosewood. I thought it's a great film.
Rosewood? Yeah, as well. I'm trying to think of any others uh, that are underrated black movies. I guess Jackie Brown is because it's not one of Quentin Tarantino's most. It's not his most celebrated movies, Jackie Brown, and I thought that was wonderful.
Oh yeah,
I would,
you
I
know
would
the
rate.
scene. I don't know if you can remember the scene where she's getting arrested. I guess she's going to get picture taken, whatever that song that's playing. 29 years and then or whatever. That was
Yeah.
actually Pam Grier, the song she sang way back in the day.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So anyway,
992. I'm like, I can't remember how it went.
we're gonna leave it. I think we'll leave it there because I can't think of many. There's loads of them that are really good, but obviously, um, that university movie is really good as well. What is it? Not American History X. It's the one where like with the Phelps guy. Back when he was hot shit. It's got Busta Rhymes in it and Ice Cube on a university campus.
Higher Learning.
Higher Learning, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's real
For
good.
for a teenage angsty movie. But yeah, that's it for me. Like I'm kind of I know there are many more great ones, especially with the Wayans brothers that we haven't mentioned yet. That was a joke, by the way.
I know.
Some Tyler Perry shit that we haven't mentioned
Exactly. Oh God, I hate all this stuff.
yet. But yeah, so great to have a conversation. I don't care. Like, hopefully people watch this. If you do, like, subscribe, and comment. Tell us your favorite black movies. If nobody ever watches this has been a great conversation. Because I do enjoy. We can do maybe a shorter thing and break it down into segments. But yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation as per usual. And guys, you want to say goodbye, JG?
Taking ass for a living, guys. Like, subscribe, and share.
Nice. So that's JG, and this is Hot Takes, and I'll see you on the flip side. Love you 3000. Peace.
Holla.
How long have we done?